What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's begin, my friends. Here we are talking yet again while prices are right around 340, in between this 360 and $320 range, right? We're getting tighter and tighter day by day, definitely showing a lot of indecision one way or another. I don't know why, for what reason the price is doing what it's doing. Maybe it's just waiting on Bitcoin. Maybe it's the options expiring tomorrow on the 27th. Maybe it's all these reasons in culmination and more. Who knows? But all I know is as we've progressed lower, volume has died off. We finally got a rather bullish candle here, moving up 11.5%, and that was the most volume that we saw really throughout this whole time up until this point here. But this whole move down, that was the most volume we saw, and it happened to be right at the low. So that tells me, or at least I would assume, that could mean that this is a low to be taken seriously, and that would promote higher prices afterwards. You guys, you really should check out my video that I just made. It's loading right now, but Bitcoin's next step, 142K. This one, I play the devil's advocate. I kind of argue if the bull cycle's over here. I don't think it's over, right? This isn't my actual perspective, but we make a case out of it in that video for fun. But this video would detail why I think Bitcoin, where are we at here? Why I think that Bitcoin's going to move up rather immediately, potentially even over the weekend. MicroStrategy tomorrow on Friday, I don't expect it to break out of this range. Maybe it does. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe it does break out, but it's only up at like 100 or 360, 370. I don't expect a humongous move. Maybe it's exactly where it is now. Maybe it's the most boring day ever. It moves down to like 330. It moves up to about 350, but it closes basically where it is now. Maybe that's what tomorrow is. I don't expect it to be a big day, but I do expect the weekend to be big for Bitcoin. And I think that would lead Monday next week for MicroStrategy to break out to the upside. We might even get a gap, right? This gap here, this happened on a Monday, November 11th, okay? That was the gap here, November 11th. What did Bitcoin do? I want to look real quick. BTC USD. You guys, you really should watch that Bitcoin video. I'm gonna put a link in the description below. Maybe I'll just pin a comment with the link, but okay, so November 10th, Bitcoin moved up, right? Going into the end of the week, this was Bitcoin's most recent move, November 11th. Here, November 5th, it moved up, and then we stopped basically at November 13th. That's when we started to consolidate. Debatably, maybe the move stopped here, and that's when we started to consolidate. That kind of actually would make more sense, right? But regardless, we moved up November 5th to November 13th in a very short amount of time, 9 days up very fast. Okay, MicroStrategy November 5th was right here at the bottom. That was in the beginning, man. That was literally the beginning of the last move, was that Monday. What I'm tripping out about is that I just made a video literally comparing this move here to what we are about to see going forward for Bitcoin. I think that we're here, and I compared that to this range back here, and now I feel like what we're going to do is exactly what we did back here, which was we gapped up to start the move up, and we had gaps along the way. We might gap it here. I'm just getting all distracted because I think again, Friday we're going to close somewhat neutral. It's not going to give us a heading. I don't think we're going to close too much to the downside, too much to the upside. I bet it's basically still within this range, if not maybe a little bit above it. I doubt that we close below it, right? Or if it is below it, next week, whatever, we're going to open up to the upside. But I think that on Monday, based on what I'm expecting out of Bitcoin to do over the coming days, by the end of this week, I think that we could see a gap up. So expect tomorrow. All this to say, I'm sorry I beat it around the bush so much. I'm trying to make these videos more concise for you guys. Expect tomorrow to be boring, and then expect the beginning of the new year to be exciting. That's that essentially, right? Monday, the 30th of December, and the 31st on Tuesday, I think those will be great days. I think you will be moving up higher. You'll probably be above $400 by the end of the year. But then going into the new year of January, I think that we will see higher targets. I'm expecting that Bitcoin itself from here moves up to about 142K by the end of January. Let's say it doesn't, right? Because some of you don't get on board with that, so that's okay. Let's say it doesn't move up to 142K. Let's say it only moves up to 120K. That's a 25% growth. I think it'll grow at least to 142K by the end of January. Again, that's the point of this video that I just made, which I'll leave in a pinned comment below. And you can watch that if you'd like. I think you should watch Bitcoin videos if you're going to watch MicroStrategy videos, right? They're very tied together. But you know, tomato kind of, right? If I'm predicting MicroStrategy is going to go up, Bitcoin probably is going to have that same thing. But there's a reason I'm mentioning that video. I think that there's something to be gained out of that. But let's say it moves up 25%. 25% from here for MicroStrategy would put it at about 430 bucks. 25% for Bitcoin, 25% for MicroStrategy. Whenever Bitcoin moved up here on November 4th that week, and we moved up, you know, those coming weeks there, that was a 50% move. November 4th here, MicroStrategy moved up 145%. So Bitcoin moved up 50%, MicroStrategy moved up almost 3x. So in that same regard, 25% here might result in a 75% move for MicroStrategy. 75% would put it at new relative highs, and that would be at least 600 bucks. So if Bitcoin were to move up to at least 120K, that would give us about a $600 price. If we do go to 140K like I'm expecting, that's my personal expectation, that'd be at about 47%. Let's call it 47%. Then that could imply a similar growth, a similar move that we saw here, you know, a 3x on 47. That's like 130, 104, 120, something like that. 120% would be 755, 130 would be 790. So there's a case to be made out of that. If we look at the relative highs here to the relative lows, you know, again, the kind of minimum targets would be 628 to 757, but the areas that I'm expecting personally for MicroStrategy is 994. And the reason for that is if we take the overall high to low on the last cycle, and I know I can already hear people that are like, I thought you said 994. Why are you talking about 700? I have a point, okay? Reason why I'm talking about 700 is I'm not going to BS you, right? We're looking at the data, we're looking at what Bitcoin did in growth, and we're comparing it to MicroStrategy, projecting that forward, going with my bullish target, which, or my it's bullish, it's the more bullish target, but it's actually my realistic target, which is 140K, 142K by the end of January. I've been saying that for a while now, basing that off of the similar growth that you saw in Bitcoin on the last move and MicroStrategy on the last move. It would make a lot of sense to stop at this, you know, $700 to $800 area. And if we look at the relative fibs here on a relative high to low, that would be right at your 1618, 1886 area. So that's perfect. But if we look at the more larger fib, from this overall, you know, last cycle high to last cycle low, you're at the 1618 now. I'm going to delete this so there's less noise on the chart. You're at the 1618 now. I think I made the point with the measurements there, right? Likely whenever you break above this, you're not at it now, you're at the 1414, but likely when you break above this, you won't stop until you hit the 1886. And the respect that you're showing, man, going from the 1618 down to your 1414 and then back up, I'd be very surprised if MicroStrategy didn't at least hit $994. I really would. But there is a case to be made for targets that are lower. The lowest target that I would have for MicroStrategy genuinely would be something above 700, close to 800 bucks. But I think there is still a case to be made, a really strong case to be made for anything between 900 and 1,300 bucks. Again, that's only assuming Bitcoin moves up to 142K, maybe moves up higher. If it moves up to 150K, 160K, or more than that, there's no doubt that MicroStrategy will be at $1,000 or higher by the end of January. But it just depends. It depends on how much we do. And I really think, again, I don't want to give everything away, but I really think that you guys should watch this video. It might explain why not only 142K is possible for Bitcoin, but why I think even prices above that are possible in comparison to this move here. So that's all I got. This video actually went on longer than I meant for it to. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, and probably expect it to be boring over the next day, and then obviously the weekend, and then next week. I think next week is when things are going to get exciting. So take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.